The Saros 10 and the Saros 10R are at the very top of the Roborock totem pole. And even though they have kind of similar names and they look pretty much the same, they're actually quite different. So we're going to compare performance and also features with our deep dive testing to see if we can choose a winner. These are both ultra premium robots with an identical price, and they have Roborock's best technology for mopping and vacuuming. So that means we're going to spend a little extra time on obstacle avoidance because they have different navigation systems, and in part, that's what differentiates them. Roborock sent me both these units for review, but they didn't send me any money and they have no say in the final edit of this video. These are both ultra slim robots coming in at just under 8 centimeters high. That's about 3.1 inches. That means they're going to be both very good at getting under low furniture.
Saros 10 might be good at cleaning underneath the stove, but there's one thing it can't do, and that is retrieve all of these cat toys that I think you put under there.
There are some differences in navigation. The 10R uses the new StarSight 2.0 solid state navigation system, and this has a time of flight sensor in front of it that is able to map out 216,000 sensor points. They both have the same Vertibeam side sensor for seeing objects on the side, and they both use RGB cameras, which helps them identify objects in real time from a pretty large database. However, the Saros 10 has a traditional spinning LiDAR system which sits on the back of the robot, and it goes down when it goes underneath furniture. However, when it's cleaning your room, it rises up. The Saros 10 base plate is fixed. You can't get it out. It's a little bit more difficult to clean. This cleans the mop pad as it moves back and forth, so a little bit more complicated. This filter does pop out, but if you want to clean it, you need to get on your hands and knees. The Saros 10R has a removable base plate. Pretty easy to take this out and wash it in your sink, and there's also a little filter here. These clean the mop pads with these little miniature squeegees that rotate around. Now, in my opinion, the Saros 10 looks a little bit cleaner because it has a top which hides the water tanks. It's a bit easier to get the door open on the 10 because it is hinged. You need to pop it off for the 10R, and they both have detergent dispensing. And you should be able to use any kind of robot detergent that you want. They both have dust bags that should last you at least 90 days. I'm not sure what the official word is. Now, they are both extremely shiny, although they do both come, I believe, in black and white, especially the 10. So if you want something a little more stylish looking, you should be able to get the 10 in the white color, which is matte, instead of super shiny where you can see literally everything there. It's like a mirror. So both docks have hot water mop washing. They both have hot air drying and auto dust emptying. So with that, let's get into our first test, which is hardwood pickup performance. The Saros 10R has 19,000 pascals of suction, whereas the Saros 10 has 22,000. In the real world, I'm not sure how much difference that's gonna make, but we're gonna check it out. We sprinkled 20 grams of sand onto our hardwood, and then we sent each robot out to see how well it performed. Both robots picked up 100% of the sand on hardwood. Next, let's move on to carpet. We conduct our carpet test twice. For the first pass, we sprinkle the sand on the carpet. In the second pass, we grind it in with our special grinding in slippers. In our carpet test, the Saros 10R picked up 80% on the sprinkled sand and 60% for ground in. The Saros 10 had very similar scores with 80% for sprinkled and 70% for ground in. We got some 10-inch green hair on the carpet. Let's send the 10R out and check the results afterwards. Let's take a look. I don't see any long hair on these brush rolls at all. I think this is a pretty effective system. Now, let's see how it does with pet hair. I don't see any cat hair on here at all. The Duo Divide anti-tangle system is extremely effective. These two independent brush rolls funnel the hair right into the center of the robot. They both have a side brush that pops out to get into corners, and this is also anti-tangle. Both the 10 and the 10R are really good at corner pickup. They have extending side brushes, which is great for picking up pet hair and other kinds of dirt. The Saros 10 uses the VibraRise mopping plate design. It is a little bit bigger than before, and as before, you can take this off, clean it, and these are the vibrating plates. Roborock says this is able to exert 8 newtons of downward pressure on the floor. It also has an independent side mop. The Saros 10R has 2 spinning mop pads. They're magnetic, You can detach them pretty easily. You can also take off the cloths to clean them. And this one moves out to the side to get along baseboards and into corners. Next, we're gonna test mopping performance with some soy sauce. Let's see how the Saros 10 does. There is some soy sauce left on the floor. You can see my handprint. I think that's pretty much par for the course. Now let's see how the Saros 10R performs. And of course, we're gonna make sure the floor is cleaned between each test. The 10R left some soy sauce on the floor as well. I think that is just, again, I'm gonna say par for the course. I'll explain that in a second. The Saros 10 does an excellent job at cleaning its mop pad after it's been out, even if it's filled with soy sauce. The Saros 10R also does an excellent job with cleaning its mop pads after it's been at the base station. The wet soy sauce test is difficult, and I think that the 10R did a little bit better with the rotating mop pads because it uses a bit more water. But if you're gonna leave big messes of soy sauce around your house, you might want to consider using a regular mop or getting a robot with a roller style mop pad. Picking up wet soy sauce is one thing, but how does it do on a dried stain like coffee? To give each robot the best chance, we're setting the scrub intensity and water flow to extreme, the cleaning count to 2, and the deepest possible cleaning. We'll do the Saros 10 first. I don't really see any coffee left on the floor. That seems to be quite effective. We're gonna test the Saros 10R with the coffee stain. You can see the stain looks a little bit different because this is my actual living room. It's not perfectly flat, so the coffee tends to run down along the floor. 10R just finished, and it actually went back to the dock station to clean the mops in between, and then it came back to finish up. I guess it detected some dirt and looks pretty clean to me. That's a little bit wet. I don't really see much coffee on here. Side mopping on both these robots is excellent, although I have heard that with the smaller side brush on the Saros 10, that if you've got little moldings on the side of your baseboard, it might ride up onto that. Now, obviously on this regular straight baseboard, there's no issue with either one. Both robots had about the same performance when attempting to mop into corners. The 10R has an extending side mop, which gets pretty close into corners, but not quite. And I thought the Saros 10 would do a little bit better with its tiny little side mop, but ultimately it doesn't extend, so it doesn't really get much closer in. In terms of how they compare to competitors, they're about the same as other high-end robots in this respect. Both the 10 and the 10R are excellent with not bumping into table legs and furniture. There are different settings that you can use. However, these are both at the top of their game, and I don't think one has an advantage over the other. Our obstacle avoidance test is going to be a little bit spicy because we have two different types of obstacle avoidance systems. The Saros 10 has a traditional spinning LiDAR system, and the Saros 10R has a solid state system in the front of the robot. We got a shoe with the shoelaces untied, we got a sock, we got some fake pet poop, and we have a power cord along the wall in a realistic position. And at the end of this, we're going to put down a charging cable as well. Let's start with the Saros 10. You can see in the app, it successfully identified all of the obstacles, including the pet poop, the power cord, and the sock. And now for the Saros 10R with its StarSight solid state navigation system. The 10R did an excellent job too, and I think you can see why this is the benefit of having a camera. It can recognize objects and identify them, and it can actually take pictures of them too if you allow it. There's the shoe, there's the power cord, and it even saw a coffee stain that I left from an earlier test, and it went and actually identified it and did some extra cleaning. The Saros 10 was a little hungrier than the Saros 10R. It ate our charging cable multiple times, the 10R didn't. The Saros 10 and the Saros 10R are among the very best robots that you can purchase for obstacle avoidance in the real world. And they both do a very good job, but there are some times where they're both going to have some difficulties. The areas that are most difficult in my home are doormats and pet food areas. I feel like the Saros 10R with its solid state navigation system is just a little bit better at identifying obstacles. However, the Saros 10 with its vibrating mop plate instead of the spinning mop pad seems to get stuck a little bit less on those obstacles. So it's a bit of a wash. The 10 and the 10R are both very quiet robots. When they are vacuuming and mopping in their normal settings, you can expect to see a decibel range between 55 and 57 dB. One feature that's becoming increasingly common in high-end robots is the ability to cross thresholds. Both the Saros 10 and the Saros 10R are able to cross thresholds up to 1.18 inches, that's 3 centimeters if it's a single layer threshold, or up to 1.57 inches, that's 4 centimeters if it's a double layer threshold. The piece of wood on my floor is a little over a ½ inch, and you can see both robots cross it without any issue. I did a more in-depth exploration of this in my Saros 10R video. But there's another benefit to this ability as well, and that's the ability to clean shag carpets without getting stuck. Both the Saros 10 and the 10R have no trouble with my shag, and that is pretty groovy. Both these robots can be controlled with your voice. It is a little bit finicky with the commands that you give it sometimes. You have to give it the exact command that's in the app. So let's try, hello Rocky.
I'm here.
Go back to dock.
Okay, end the current task and start docking.
You gotta see me to believe me.
Now both Roborocks have Matter support, but Matter through Alexa is not really quite there yet. Alexa, send Saros 10 back to the dock.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Alexa, pause cleaning.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
So you can see maybe when Alexa, the newer one, comes out with the AI, it's gonna be better. I've tested all the apps from the different manufacturers, and Roborock definitely has the best one. It's intuitive, it's easy to use, and it lets you do a lot of different options. So it's pretty easy to see where your robot has cleaned. I've set up an obstacle over here, which is a threshold. You can do zone cleaning really quickly, and it's easy to edit the map and set up a no-go zone. You can set up multiple floors in your home. It's easy to name the floors, and you can have it cleaned by room if you want. There are different cleaning options, including the AI version called Smart Plan. It's basically, you just set it and forget it. It's gonna go out and vacuum and mop and figure out where the dirty areas are. Or you can customize it with different levels of suction, cleaning power, intensity, and so forth. And you can vacuum and mop, or mop. You can customize it basically to your heart's content. I think this is the best app out there. If you want to keep up with the latest vacuum news and deals, join my upcoming newsletter at vacuumnerds.com. So, which one is better? Well, they're both super premium flagship robots and among the best you can buy right now. However, one pulled ahead, and that is the Saros 10R. It was a little better in two areas: mopping performance and obstacle avoidance. The 10R has dual spinning mop pads, and in our test, they were just a little bit more effective with dried coffee and soy sauce than the 10 with its vibrating mop pad. The spinning mop pads in the 10R use more water, and while that might mean they leave some streaks, they do remove a stain with less passes than the Saros 10. And the Saros 10R has a slightly better obstacle avoidance system than the 10. With its solid state system, it's able to avoid phone cables better, and in the real world of my home, it identified more obstacles proactively in the app, and it just avoids them a little bit more often. In our final score, the Saros got 82 points out of 100, and the Saros 10R scored 87 points. Now, I've got the Roborock Saros 70Z with the robotic arm coming in about a week, so definitely subscribe for that. There's gonna be links for all these down below, and there's another excellent robot video right here, or maybe here.